Trump believes diplomacy can stop Iran's nuclear program. Netanyahu does not. The Israeli Prime Minister says they agree on the big issues, but on Iran's bomb, he is skeptical his closest ally can deliver. Trump is in Ankara, calling Turkey exceptional, and considering selling it America's most advanced fighter jet. Netanyahu isn't convinced. Fresh cracks are emerging inside one of Washington's closest alliances. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu has acknowledged that while he and US President Donald Trump occasionally disagree over Iran, the two leaders remain united on what he described as the bigger strategic issues. Speaking in an interview with CNN on July 7th, the Israeli Prime Minister said it was still too early to judge the long-term consequences of the temporary agreement reached between Washington and Tehran. Netanyahu noted that President Trump believes diplomacy can prevent Iran from developing nuclear weapons, but admitted he remains skeptical that such an outcome can be achieved. Despite those differences, Netanyahu insisted that the relationship between Israel and the United States remains strong.
President Trump believes he can stop Iran's nuclear program. We agree on the big issues and sometimes disagree, but we are true allies.
Netanyahu's remarks came as questions continue to surround the future of the temporary understanding between the United States and Iran, an agreement reached after the recent conflict between the two countries. According to the report, the deal brought an end to the war and eased long-standing restrictions on Iran's ability to sell oil in exchange for reopening the strategically vital Strait of Hormuz. It also said a permanent agreement could pave the way for the lifting of additional sanctions worth hundreds of billions of dollars. However, the report noted that the temporary agreement did not address several of the central issues raised by both the United States and Israel at the beginning of the conflict in late February, including Iran's nuclear program, its ballistic missile development, support for regional proxy groups, and its stockpile of highly enriched uranium. Netanyahu also used the interview to criticize reports that President Trump is considering lifting restrictions on the sale of F-35 stealth fighter jets to Turkey. The Israeli leader argued that supplying Ankara with America's most advanced fighter aircraft would not strengthen regional stability. He claimed that providing Turkey with such military capabilities would encourage further aggression rather than promote peace.
Selling the most advanced US fighter aircraft does not make Turkey a friend of the United States. This is not a force for peace and stability. If you give them this power, you will see aggression follow.
Trump, who is attending the NATO summit in Turkey, has described Turkey as an exceptional American ally and indicated that he is prepared to reconsider the ban on F-35 sales imposed during his first presidential term. As diplomacy over Iran continues and debate grows over America's defense partnerships, Netanyahu's remarks underline that while the US-Israel alliance remains intact, significant differences persist over how to confront the region's most sensitive security challenges. Benjamin Netanyahu has pushed back against claims that Donald Trump is Israel's only ally left standing, and in doing so, put an unlikely name on the table: India. Speaking to Fox News, the Israeli Prime Minister rejected remarks made last month by US Vice President J.D. Vance, who had declared Trump the only world leader still sympathetic to Israel. Netanyahu disagreed, though carefully.
What was your reaction when you heard that?
First of all, I respect J.D. Vance. We have a very good relationship, but doesn't mean that I agree with everything that he says. And I have to point out this. Donald Trump is the greatest friend we ever had in the White House. And I stand by that completely.
Netanyahu did not stop there, pointing to what he called overwhelming engagement from Indian users on his own social media pages as further proof of goodwill.
Secondly, we have some other friends, like a small country called India. You know, it has 1.4 billion people, and boy, do we have a tremendous support there. You know, I have this Facebook thing, and I'm just flooded by the overwhelming support there, and we have many others.
Yet the Israeli Prime Minister was careful not to burn bridges with Washington. He still described Trump as the closest ally Israel has ever had in the White House, insisting the two leaders remain aligned on Iran, despite friction over last month's ceasefire deal between Washington and Tehran. That friction has been hard to ignore. Trump has, in recent weeks, called Netanyahu f***ing crazy and said he has no f***ing judgment, remarks the Israeli leader brushed off as the kind of disagreement that exists within any close alliance. According to a book by New York Times journalists, Trump had earlier lashed out at Netanyahu over Gaza and said,
"Everybody's sick of you, Bibi. All the Jews are sick of you. Even the two Jews on this call are sick of you."
The tension resurfaced again on July the 4th, when Trump told Axios that Netanyahu knows who the boss is, adding that the two men get along very good. A meeting between them at the White House is now expected within weeks, likely once talks scheduled around the NATO summit in Turkey wrap up. Netanyahu, for his part, insists the disputes are cosmetic rather than structural. He maintains that Israel and the United States share not just interests, but values, and that this, more than any single leader's temperament, is what holds the relationship together. Still, his decision to name India, rather than any European capital or long-standing partner, as evidence of broader global support, has raised eyebrows. Analysts see it as an attempt to project independence from Washington at a moment when Israeli officials have voiced quiet frustration over the direction of the ceasefire deal with Iran. Whether that outreach to New Delhi reflects genuine strategic diversification or simply a rhetorical device aimed at Vance remains to be seen. What is clear is that Netanyahu, even while praising Trump publicly, is no longer content to be seen as having only one friend left in the world.